You are listening to the Daily Homily for Magdala in the Holy Land.
Jesus took Peter, John, and James and went up a mountain to pray. While he was praying, his face changed in appearance, and his clothing became dazzling white. And behold, two men were conversing with him, Moses and Elijah, who appeared in glory and spoke of his exodus that he was going to accomplish in Jerusalem. Peter and his companions had been overcome by sleep, but becoming fully awake, they saw his glory and the two men standing with him. As they were about to part from him, Peter said to Jesus, "Master, it is good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." But he did not know what he was saying. While he was still speaking, a cloud came and cast a shadow over them. And they became frightened when they entered the cloud. Then from the cloud came a voice that said, "This is my chosen son, listen to him." After the voice had spoken, Jesus was found alone. They fell silent and did not at that time tell anyone what they had seen. The Gospel of the Lord. I was wondering what vestment I should wear for this Mass, because the vestments also express, obviously the white vestment would be perfectly fine, and just this golden one because of the glory of the transfigured Lord on Mount Tabor. So we have in the Psalm, "The Lord is King, the Most High over all the earth." And in a certain sense, that's the great legacy of God's people prepared since Abraham, recognizing the one true Creator God. And then the big shock for humanity that he wants to speak to an elderly couple, Abraham and Sarah, and bless them with a child to prepare a family, a people that would be able to receive the gift of redemption for humanity. And then at a very later chapter in the history of the people, we find them in exile in Babylon. And that's the context of understanding for the book of Daniel. It's from a position of exile, but it's a vision of this great God who has created the world. The Lord is king over all the earth, and he is king even over the Babylonian empires, of the Mesopotamian empires, the Assyrians and the Babylonians and all the others before them and after them. And so he is intervening. And he's intervening with extraordinary presence and power, in a mysterious way described how the Son of Man comes and he's meeting the Ancient of Days and receiving the kingdom, if you will, the dominion, the glory, and the kingship, the one like a Son of Man. So surely the Son of Man, there's something extraordinarily divine about this encounter, and he's also then the Son of God, who becomes flesh through Mary. And this revelation of Jesus at the Sea of Galilee with these fishermen, and we have Peter here more than once today in the letter of Peter and in the Gospel mentioning his presence on Mount Tabor for the Transfiguration. These simple fishermen here from the Sea of Galilee, right outside the window here, they are discovering the mystery of Christ. And they're longing for salvation for their people. In a way, if their eyes open up more and see all the peoples of the world. And so they expect this, and then they're beginning to try to figure out Jesus, who is he, how is he? And all the language we have of the Transfiguration harkens back to Moses' experience on Mount Sinai, the cloud coming down, the mysterious presence of God, this extraordinary transcendent God. The Lord is King, the Most High over all the earth. And yet he's coming to talk now, after Abraham, he's coming to talk with Moses. And to bring his people out of slavery is also a teaching, a pedagogy of opening up the mind and heart for exit from slavery, and the ultimate slavery of sin and hatred. And so we have Peter's account later on then, he says, as we were up on the mountain. And this is from the second letter of Peter. For he received honor and glory from God the Father. This is my son. And he's telling the same story of the transfiguration. And it's a marvelous mystery of why God would want to love us so, to come to redeem us. And what we see then is God's vision for our human flesh. It's radiant with divinity, because the person of Christ is the second person of the Blessed Trinity, assuming human nature in a very hidden way. He emptied himself to be like a slave, even to the point of crucifixion. And there's where we stand at Mount Tabor, just before Calvary. And these disciples will be very shaken, but they should understand that Jesus isn't just a victim without any sense of control of the situation. On the contrary, he is giving himself up. He laid down his life so much that God loved the world that he gave his only son. There's no greater love than to lay down your life. This is glory, the glory of love, the extraordinary fulfillment of love. And there we've discovered then, as Jesus strengthens them, his heart is revealed. It's all for us and for our salvation. He's not doing it for himself. He's not doing it to show off. He's not doing it just to make a point. He's doing it to transmit to us the mystery of salvation, which sheds so much light on our daily grind, on the worries, the tensions we have between us, the conflicts, and sometimes today so bitter, like they always have been since Cain and Abel, and we continue following those patterns, and how much we need this salvation. And in the middle of this daily grind, even people caught up in the conflicts of war, God can be working through them, transforming them for eternal glory. And we venerate so many saints who actually became saints at an incredible level of sanctity in the context of war and persecution. In a few days, we'll be celebrating Maximilian Kolbe in the Second World War, and so many others who became saints. C.S. Lewis' book, The Screwtape Letters, is very insightful, presenting how even in the worst situations, there God is making incredible saints. Maybe he brings us and transforms us more easily in a way into holy people through difficulties. And that's about the light of the transfiguration, because they'll come back and walk on the same ground. They'll feel the intense heat of the day of the sun. We're coming into a big heat wave here now the next few days. And they're going to have to deal with the crucifixion. And they themselves will be martyrs. But in all of that turmoil, the sweat and the blood and the gore, all of this is where the glory is going to be expressed. Jesus shows his wounds. They are radiant. Let us pray for the church, for all people in need today, to discover that in the mystery of the dreariness and the drudgery of our lives, that there's a glory hidden beneath the surface that's going to explode in a majestic fullness of life that we can't even imagine, way beyond what Peter and James and John were surprised with on that day of the Transfiguration. God is at work saving us. He came into our nature, and he's bringing us up with him.
Thank you for joining us today. If you want to learn more about Magdala, follow us on YouTube and on Facebook.